Welcome to the YouTube channel for my new book, Seed of Israel, DNA Guide to Tracing Your Jewish Ancestry, available on Amazon in ebook and paperback versions. Links to order your copy are below. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button to get more videos like this. In this video, I want to demonstrate how Ashkenazi Jews are genetically similar to Sephardic Jews, North African Jews from Morocco, Tunisia, Libya, and Algeria, and also other Western Diaspora Jews, such as Italian Jews, French Jews, Romanian Jews, and Greek Jews, known as Romaniot. And sort of what sparked this idea for this video was an article that I recently read by conservative talk show host, commentator Dennis Prager, in an opinion piece headline titled "Criticism Israel is not anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism is." Now, I agree with about 99% of this opinion piece by Dennis Prager, but I do take issue with one small part of it. And I'm going to scroll down to show you. And I just think it's inaccurate. And I'll tell you why I think it's inaccurate. So let's just scroll down. And overall, I think it's an excellent article. And again, I agree with about 99% of what Dennis is saying here. But I do think it's inaccurate. Okay, here's the part. So this is the fourth point he's making, that anti-Zionists claim that Israel is illegitimate because it is racist. This is the charge Israel and America haters make against two of the least racist societies in the world. In the case of Israel, it is fraudulent because, A, half of Israel's Jews are not white. Okay, so what I think Dennis is doing here is he's basically making the point that, about 50% of Israel's Jewish population is at least partially of Sephardic and Mizrahi descent. And the other half are Ashkenazi. The Jews who were exiled in Europe, in Eastern and Central Europe and Western Europe. But I think it's inaccurate. Now, if he's talking about how Ashkenazi Jews in the early years of the Zionism and in early years of Israel, how they discriminated against Sephardic and Mizrahi, and there has been issues with that. I can see that. I can see why he's saying that. I think that was all rooted in a lot of ignorance and not really knowing, that we're all basically all one people. And this is the point I'm trying to make, is that at least at a genetic level, when you look at genetic studies, DNA testing, and if you look at at history, going back thousands of years, we all are basically the same people. So it's really a false separation, a false distinction to be made between Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardic Jews. And it's even false to say that the Ashkenazi Jews are from Europe. But first of all, the Sephardic Jews were lived in Spain and Portugal. And also, if you accept the Rhineland theory of Jewish migration from the land of Israel to the boot of Italy, up the boot of Italy to the Rhineland, and then later to Eastern and Central Europe, well, then we spent a lot of time in Southern Europe, in Italy, in the Mediterranean diaspora. And that's basically why I really think it's a lot more accurate to call us all Western Diaspora Jews, rather than our subgroups, because we all really come from the same source population. Okay, we all come from the Levant, the Levantine Middle East, and we spread out in the Mediterranean diaspora in biblical time, as early as biblical times, in the Hellenistic period, in the Roman period. I wrote about this in my book. I've made videos about this. I've commented a lot about this. That we all come from basically Roman Jews, right? Jews in the Roman Empire, whether we're Ashkenazi, Sephardic, or North African. And North African Jews are a lot of them are descendants of the Sephardim who fled, Spain, Portugal, other areas under the Spanish crown, under the Alhambra decree, the Inquisition, the Alhambra decree, the expulsion edict. And, this occurred in like the 15th and 16th centuries and other periods. But, we all were descent from Jews in the Mediterranean diaspora. There were traders and merchants, and also Jews that were taken on slave ships following the Jewish-Roman Wars, and taken as slaves to Rome. And so, it's really, so, the Ashkenazim ended up in one part of Europe, but, the Sephardim ended up in another area in Europe. That's basically it. And the Italian Jews ended up in Italy. The Greek Jews in Greece. The North African Jews in, Morocco, Tunisia, Libya, Algeria. So, and the Eastern Diaspora Jews, well, they were resulted from other exiles, or they were exiled during the Babylonian exile, during the Roman exile. They went to Babylon. So Jews went to Yemen, but we all come from that same source population, and genetic studies prove this. So I just think, just to say that, there's these white Jews, that half of Israel's are white, Israeli. I just completely disagree with that. We're all the same people. We all come from the Middle East originally, from specifically the land of Israel, the Levant. And yes, we have different diaspora admixture, but we're more genetically similar than we are different. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to demonstrate that. So let's take a look here. Now I want to just read from an article that I wrote from a website called King David's Journal, on why DNA testing companies should place diaspora Jews in Israel. Now I'm not at the actual website, because the website's undergoing repairs. So this is a draft that I'm reading from, and I'm just going to read from the section on shared ancestry. So 2 genetic studies published in 2010 show that Jewish communities from Europe, the Middle East, and the Caucasus have shared ancestry tracing back to the land of Israel and the southern Levant. One of the surveys conducted a genome-wide analysis of 7 Jewish groups: Iranian, Iraqi, Syrian, Italian, Turkish, Greek, and Ashkenazi, and compared them with non-Jewish groups. The findings demonstrated distinctive Jewish population clusters, each with shared Middle Eastern ancestry, proximity to contemporary Middle Eastern populations, and variable degrees of European and North African admixture. The other survey compared 14 Jewish diaspora communities with 69 non-Jewish populations and found that, quote, most Jewish samples form a remarkably tight subcluster that overlies Druze and Cypriot samples, but not samples from other Levantine populations or paired diaspora host populations. And I say the exceptions were the Ethiopian Jews, Beta Israel, and Indian Jews, B'nai Israel and Kochini, who clustered with their host populations. And a 2009 study found that Jewish populations share a high level of genetic similarity to each other. The results, quote, support the view that the Jewish populations largely share a common Middle Eastern ancestry, and that over their history they have undergone varying degrees of admixture with non-Jewish populations of European descent. A 2000 study tracing the paternal origins of Jews concluded that, quote, the paternal gene pools of Jewish communities from Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East descended from a common Middle Eastern ancestral population, and suggests that most Jewish communities have remained relatively isolated from neighboring non-Jewish communities during and after the diaspora. Now I want to show you some figures from these studies, and I'm going to link to these studies below. And I want to kind of zoom in on these figures and these PCA plots, and just show you how close genetically at an autosomal DNA level, in particular, how close we Ashkenazi, Sephardic, North African, and other Western Diaspora Jews are. So let's take a look at some of these figures. So let's take a look at this figure. And just there's the legend. So Ashkenazi, AJ Ashkenazi Jews, SJ Sephardi Jews, MJ Moroccan Jews, IQJ Iraqi Jews, INJ Iranian Jews, UJ Uzbekistani Jews, AZG Azerbaijani Jews, GJ Georgian Jews, YJ Yemenite Jews, SBJ Belmont Jews. So those are all the Jewish populations. So let's see where they cluster. So here's the basic cluster with Druze, Cypriots, and Samaritans in the Levant. and we all cluster very close to the Levant there. And as you can see, AJ Ashkenazi Jews are kind of all over, and we're very close to Iranian Jews, INJ Iraqi Jews. There's Uzbekistan Jews, Georgian Jews, and there's Sephardi Jews, and so there's Druze, Cypriots, some Ashkenazi Jews a little bit closer to Armenians and Georgians, but overall, we're right there in the same cluster, with these other diaspora Jewish populations. So that is one figure. Here's another, and this PCA shows, as you can see. Let's find the legend. Okay. Okay, so there, I'm going to just zoom in here real close. So you can see this red bubble here. That's Ashkenazi Jews. And so as you can see, the purple is Sephardi Jews, orange is Moroccan Jews, and both Moroccan Jews and Sephardi Jews overlap with Ashkenazi Jews. And you also Sephardic Belmont Jews, which is a small historic Jewish community in Portugal, they also overlap with Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Moroccan Jews. And as you can see, Cypriots, overlap with the Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Moroccan Jews, at least will overlap with the Sephardi and the Ashkenazi Jews. So it's another example of how close we are. And here's another PCA showing Ashkenazi and Sephardi Jews clustering together, and it's an intermediate between Europe and the Middle East. And as you can see, Ashkenazi Jews are a little bit closer to Europe, Sephardi Jews a little closer to the Middle East, but we're basically in the same, we're basically clustering together. So that's a clear demonstration, is that sort of halfway between Europe and the Middle East. Here is sort of like a PCA plot from the Eurogenes K36 admixture calculator, and basically there's a utility that you can input your admixture percentages from each population, and it'll create like a latitude and longitude basically, and you can kind of pinpoint on the PCA where you are. And so these are basically the averages for each population. So let's take a look. I've kind of circled it around kind of East Mediterranean, East Med, you can see there. And as you can see, there's Ashkenazi, just east of South Italian and Sicilian, east and south of Central Greek, and just north and east of Italian Jewish, and there's Sephardic, and there's Tunisian Jewish, and there's Libyan Jewish, and there's Cyprian. But again, all very close, okay? There's a little different perspective there too, you can see. Where Ashkenazi is, where Sephardic, where Italian Jewish, Tunisian Jewish, Libyan Jewish. Okay, obviously, Ashkenazi is a little closer to Southern Europe, Southern Europeans, Greeks and Italians. But we're still there. We're still very close to the, especially Italian Jews and Sephardic Jews. And let's take a look. This is from a study that I talked about earlier on the Y-DNA side, patrilineal side from 2000. And as you can see, there's Europeans, there's Sub-Saharan Africans, there's North Africans, and here is ASH, A-S-H, Ashkenazi. And as you can see that we are close to ROM is Roman Jews. KUR is and all the triangles are Jewish subgroups. So KUR is Kurdish Jews, NAF is North African Jews, NEA are Near Eastern Jews, YEM is Yemenite Jews. So, and there's where Ashkenazi are. Okay, we're not in Europe. We're not. Obviously, again, like I said before from the other figure, we're a little bit closer to like Greeks and Italians, but we're not right there with Greeks and Italians. We are closer to other Jews. And in this case, at least again, this is the Y-DNA side. Roman Jews, which are Italian Jews. There's Kurdish Jews, again, North African Jews, Near Eastern Jews, Yemenite Jews. so etc. And here is a neighbor joining tree. And as you can see, that I from a study that I mentioned from my article, and as you can see in the red, you see Ashkenazi there on the same branch as Tunisian Jews, Turkish Jews, and Moroccan Jews. And again, an intermediary between Europe and the Middle East. The blue is Europe, and there's Mozabite, Druze, Palestinian, Bedouin, and so again, another demonstration of how close we all are as a diaspora Jews. And here's from another study. You can see from this figure that Ashkenazi Jews, ASJ, that we cluster in the core Levant region, and that we cluster very close to Lebanese Druze. LD is Lebanese Druze, HD is Carmel Druze, CYP are Cypriots, ARM are Armenians, and SEJ are Sephardic Jews. So you can see there's there's some overlap there between Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardic Jews. Now again, some Ashkenazi Jews are a little bit closer to up to Armenians and Georgians, but many are in the Levant, and again close and are right there with Sephardic Jews and other Levantines such as Lebanese. Okay. So now I want to share my own DNA results really quick. So I'm 100% European Jewish. There it is. Now European Jewish is Ashkenazi Jewish. And this is according to Ancestry DNA, according to their most recent update in September of last year, when they added 13,000 reference populations, and most Ashkenazi Jews, fully Ashkenazi Jews, I have 4 Ashkenazi Jewish grandparents, we went up from anywhere from 90%, I was 91%, and we all went up to 100% European Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish. So there it is. So I just want to go over a couple of my results from the oracles from GED match, which is a utility with a bunch of admixture calculators that you can upload your raw DNA to, and you can kind of see, what populations that you're closest to, what percentages that do you get for different regions, whether they're modern or ancient, and there's a lot of cool things in there. So I just want to go over just a couple of just like basically 4 oracles of my population distances, just to show you not only how close I am as a fully Ashkenazi Jew to Southern Europeans, mostly Greeks and Italians, and also to a little bit further down to Levantine Middle Easterners, but I really want to show you how close Ashkenazi Jews are to other Jewish diaspora Jews. So, for example, as you can see, and distance, you can see, you get the population. Now they list the top 20 populations that are closest to you based on their analysis of your autosomal DNA and the distance. So my number 1 for this one was Jew Romania, and as you can see, Sicilian, and then there's Ashkenazim. There's 2 different Ashkenazim they compare you to. Italian center, Greek east, Greek south, and then there's Jew France, Jew Italia, Greek center, Italian south, Greek north, Greek Cretan, and there's Sephardim, and Jew Algeria, Jew Morocco, Jew Tunisia, Greek Azov, Gagauz, and Jew Libya. So those are my closest populations in that calculator. And here's another one. Jew Romania, number 1, Jew Romania, Greek East, Ashkenazim, Greek South, Greek Center, Sicilian, Italian Center, Greek North, Italian South, Ashkenazim, Greek Cretan, and there's Jew Francestral, which is French Jews. There's Jew Italia, Jew Morocco, Sephardim, Greek Azov, Jew Algeria, Jew Tunisia, Italian North, Tatar Crimea. And so I'm going to do a couple more, and that'll be the end of the video. And so here is Ashkenazi, East Sicilian, West Sicilian, Central Greek, South Italian, and there's Italian Jewish, there's Sephardic Jewish, Italian Abruzzo, Algerian Jewish, Greek Thessaly, Tunisian Jewish, Libyan Jewish, Tuscan, Cyprian, Bulgarian, North Italian, Lebanese Muslim, Romanian, Syrian, Palestinian. And then lastly, Ashkenazi, East Sicilian, Italian Abruzzo, West Sicilian, Central Greek, South Italian, Greek, and there is Sephardic Jewish, Italian Jewish, Greek Thessaly, Tuscan, and Algerian, number 12, Algerian Jewish, number 13, Tunisian Jewish, then Bulgarian, then number 15, Libyan Jewish, North Italian, Romanian, Cyprian, Serbian, and Lebanese Muslim. So again, this is just showing you how close Ashkenazi Jews are to Sephardic Jews, North African Jews, particularly. And we're a little more distant to other diaspora Jews, but we're still close. So, I think that's really important to demonstrate. And thank you for watching.